No. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be creating this fall inspired makeup look. So don't forget to like my video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on your bell notifications. So now let's get started with the tutorial. So like always, the first thing that I am going to do is prime the eyelids. After applying the primer, I let it sit for a little bit and I went in with some Shape Tape just so that we can cover up any pigmentation that I have on the lid. I am blending out the concealer with my finger because the warmth of my finger helps it blend better into the skin. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set this. So now I brought you guys up just a little bit closer so you guys can get a better look of how I'm gonna be applying each shadow. I'm setting the concealer with a very light eyeshadow. You could also just set it with translucent powder, but I'm using this, that way it could already highlight my brow bone. I'll be leaving all of the names of the shadows and everything that I use down below. So this is the first shade that I'm working into the eyelid, and I'm working it into the crease. And when I'm blending this out, I switch into back and forth and into circular motions. It just depends. And then I'm trying to not bring it up so high that it goes all the way into my brow bone, but I am buffing it out so you don't see a harsh line. Also, make sure you bring it in far enough, that way when we clean it up, we still have product in here. So like I said, apply this below the first shadow we put because this is a bit darker. And again, we're going to be working this in a C form. So now our C gets a bit smaller, and you could start building it. You don't have to right away start with the C. You could start at the end, work it in, work the middle, and then do the front, but always blend it out in a C shape. The key to a very nice looking shadow is blending. So even if you think you blended enough, keep on going. So I'm gonna continue to add this shade into my lid, and just like any other eye look, you have to keep going back and forth with each shade. You can't always just make it right the first time around. You have to go back and forth and then look at it in different angles. Like now I'm using a mirror pretty up close to my eye so I can make sure I can see where I'm applying it, but I also have mirrors further away from me so I can see what it looks like, because if you focus on a small mirror so close to your eye, by the time that you look further away, you're gonna realize that it's either too harsh, it's not blended enough, or you are missing color. So up close is good, so you could be very precise, but make sure you always look to a mirror further away from you so you could get that double shot. So now I switched over to a flat brush. She's dense, but we're gonna use this one so we could focus more of the darker shade into the crease, just so that it could be nice and concentrated, because the blending brush was buffing it out a little too much for what I was going for. So this is the brush that I use. So now with this brush, again, working into that C. So now I'm going to slightly smoke out the outer corner, and I'm switching back to a more dense blending brush. And with that, we're gonna dab slightly into the shade. So like pack it on, and then in a tiny circle, buff it inward. Try to not drag it towards the crease, that way we don't add this much darkness into that area. So just focus it on the outer corner and small circle to blend. So again, just small circles to blend out this shade. So now we're gonna go ahead and cut the crease. I am gonna do what I always do to get the ideal crease shape exactly for my eye. So the best thing to do is add some concealer very close to your lash line, and then look forward and then slightly up, and then it marks exactly where to cut it. And I'm not adding any more product into the brush right now. I'm only using what I have. And when you cut your crease, you want to do it a little bit at a time, because sometimes you want to drag it to hurry up, but you're only gonna make your skin like wrinkle, and then it's gonna get out of control. And if you have some concealer left on your lid, you could also use that to drag it out and clean up more of the eyelid. It's up to you, or you could pick up more product. I personally don't like to pile on so much concealer because then it makes my eyelids greasy, and I don't like that. I'm going back in with a small pointing brush and picking up the color that we used on our crease, so we could get rid of that cut that was way too high for what I was going for. So again, just picking up a little bit of color at a time, and then just erasing that like cut that we made. And now I got rid of the small pointy brush, and I picked up the flat dense brush that we used to pack on the crease color. And the reason, I didn't add any extra product. I'm only doing this so it could blend it out and it doesn't look like I literally went back in and added a line of color. So this is going to help me blend it out. Now I'm going to be applying some yellow into this lid space, and I'm doing it while the concealer is a bit like tacky, not so wet but also not completely dry. So this shade isn't as pigmented as I thought it was going to be, so we're only so the only thing left to do, because I do like the color, but it's just gonna require about 100 layers of it. So we're gonna keep going back and forth onto packing more and more until I get to the pigment that I want. Oh, and to apply this shade, I'm using a very flat, thin brush, because all that we're doing is laying on the color. So now you could see that that yellow kind of took over some of the shades that we previously added. So again, go back into your shades and then reapply. That way they could all come up and be nice and vibrant, each one. So the first one that I am going to reapply is the outer corner. For this shade, it's a small circle. That way it doesn't take over the yellow, but we also don't want a harsh line between them. This shade that I'm reapplying, it's the crease shade, and again I'm doing that C that I previously did. So this is a final look. I obviously finished the rest of my face off camera. I did my lashes, I went with this dark lip, and to top it off I'm gonna go back in with a gloss because it's already dry out, so I want my lips to be nice and juicy. Alright guys, so this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please recreate it, and I hope that you learned a trick or two. Remember, subscribe to my channel, don't forget to like it, and please leave me a comment down below. Bye!